Hey everybody, I'm Book Talk with Kay and my co-host Miss Lyha. Tonight we have the pleasure of interviewing Miss Josie Hewitt. She's working on her first, thank you, book, and we're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. Oh, Felicia.
So why don't you, hey Felicia, sorry, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
I am a mother of four from the Midwest. I've been writing all my life and kind of put it on the back burner to raise kids and work corporate jobs. And I rediscovered writing after kind of hanging out with you guys and finding my love for books again a couple years ago. I think that's about it.
um, so what genre is your book in, and what drew you to that style of storytelling?
So this particular book is a romantasy. I initially started it as a dark romantasy, but then I realized my characters really pulled me more to the plot of things than like the steamy spiciness of things. So I would definitely call it a romantasy. I've always loved that genre. I love the slow burn. I love the tropes of not necessarily like the three people that love each other, the triangles or whatever, but the yearning of things. Actually, I just watched earlier today Pride and Prejudice again just to get into the feels. So
It's
that's
my
always,
favorite.
if I'm not watching romantasy or reading it, then it would be comedy. And I can't write comedy for nothing, but I will say the banter in my book it reflects my humor.
I love that. Why don't you let everybody know what the title's going to be, how
Okay.
far along you are?
The title is called Hartsville University. It is planned to be a three-book series. So I may, just dependent upon how I end the first book, I may add a little tag after it. We'll just call it book one for now. What was the second question you asked me?
Um,
You said the title and then what
well,
else?
so you answered it. There's
Oh, okay.
going to be three.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, how far along I am. Thank you. Sorry, my brain went. I am at chapter 24 right now, right? What? Three? Three what?
chapter 20.
Okay.
Oh, she's saying because you're having three books. You left that part out to her.
Okay, so yeah. By the way, Lyha, there's going to be three books. I know for sure the main focus in book one is going to be Lyha, and then to be continued on the others. I know what the outline is of the other two, but I can't say because then it would be a spoiler. So, some continued
Oh,
growth.
that's
I'm more than halfway through. I'm hoping to be finished closer to October of this year.
okay. Are you planning to stay an indie author, or are you hoping to talk with like a literary agent? What's your goal?
I'm open to explore everything. I do love the option of being an indie author where you have more control over your art form. I have been approached already by a couple traditional publishers, but I just keep saying, let me write the book first before I can go into any further discussions. But I am open to either.
No. So you hope to have the final draft done by October, or you hope to publish by October?
Um, So with work, because I do work full time too, I would like to be completely done by October, but the reality of that is if I do accept into a trad publishing, they could change my timeline, which is fine. So that's why here lately I've been shifting a little bit. If I self publish, I'm hoping to be fully done by October 2026. If more time is needed for additional edits and review and all of that, then we're talking maybe 2027.
That makes sense. Um, do you plan to go to any events and start promoting, or are you
Uh,
waiting until you're completely done before?
so I was already accepted at Rebels and Realms. They were going to have me be a panelist for my this work in progress and discuss what I've been doing on TikTok so far, showing my journey. But I don't know if I would say I chickened out, but I kind of chickened out. I didn't want to come in there with no book. There's a little, I get some kickback a little, I feel, from obviously not the community that we hang with, but I have heard some negative comments about, oh, you're not published yet, you shouldn't be there. But Rebels and Realms, they were very encouraging and they're like, no, 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 this is exactly what we want. Everybody wants to see what the process is. But I wouldn't have this process if I didn't have the other authors that you've interviewed and the ones that I've made friends with along the way without seeing what they've gone through. And then it showed me how to avoid making those same mistakes or how to get through certain steps that I needed to do this work in progress. So I felt like I'm really, taking little bits and pieces of all these other authors. Maybe I could go and represent that way. I'm not 100% out yet. Like I did tell them, let me think on it, and then I told them no, but between you and Leonie, I keep getting asked, and I'm like, maybe I'll message them back and see what I can do by July.
Yeah, half the group's going. You might as well just come on.
So I have thought about that. I'll be traveling for just to go visit another author here in April down to Texas, and I do a lot of local events where I just go support other authors because I think it's really important, especially for indie authors, writers, authors, and artists to show up for each other. And so I do a lot of the local stuff here in my town. We did National Authors Day back in November, and I rallied up all the authors I knew personally to come into that event, and it was really successful. They're going to do it again this summer.
I love that. Um, yeah, I think a big part would be to go to your local bookstores, those smaller ones and even the bigger ones, and find out when you could do like a book signing or when it's out and everything.
Yeah, I have
It's
a
never too, I don't think it's ever too early to start
no. Yeah,
planning for those.
I actually drove. I went to Kansas City, and actually have already been talking with some places. Got myself in the door already, talking with them, and I've also went to there's an event planner here, and she's like, let me know when you launch your book, and I will host your book launch party. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So
I
everything's
love
ready
that.
to go. It's just, I got to get this done. Everybody's waiting.
Yeah. Megan said local libraries.
Yeah.
And she also asked if you were going to publish through Leone.
Um, that has been something that we have talked about. I haven't talked to Leonie in a little while since she's been busy with the Butchered Riders, but it has not been made past me yet.
Amber asks, do you have any characters in your book? Do any characters in your book have traits of your personality, and who is your favorite character?
I think that several of the characters have traits of my personality. I put a little piece of me in everything. Lyha, she's like goth princess type, and I'm very like preppy goth, and that's how I was back in high school, I won't say how far back that was, but I was the girl with, purple lipstick and dark eyeliner, and nobody understood me. They were just like, what is this girl doing? But they didn't realize I was on trend. Um, Her attitude about stuff, her language, the way she speaks. I cuss a little. Lyha cusses a lot. And then there's Tally, which is her best friend. She's very bubbly, very outgoing, very extrovert, which Lyha, she's introvert until she gets to know you. So that's also me. Like, just depending on who I'm with, you're going to see me talk a lot, or you're just going to get RBF, and that's it. And it doesn't mean that I'm not approachable. It just means I'm uncomfortable and trying to get myself there. There's some silliness, and even in the male characters, the uncertainties that Kyle has sometimes where he's overthinking, or David trying to be perfect for his family, stuff like that. I just put little bits and pieces. Or, oh, who doesn't want to talk to you? How are we? Hello, Matt. You guys are talking very.
Um, can you tell us about the magic system in this book?
So the magic system in this book, all of the characters, they're all legacies of mythological characters, and the legacies, they are born already holding some magic. So, for example, Lyha is part witch, part demon. Her mother is goddess of the moon, Diana, and then she is the queen of all the witch covens. And then her father slash uncle is Lucifer. So she has a lot of the witch energy as, and then like Tally, she's a siren. Her parents are ocean deities or sea deities, and then we have the vampires and the wizards. But everybody is already born into some type of magic. They are limited to how much magic they are allowed to. They don't fully come into their magic until after their 18th birthday, which everybody's on the cusp of, or have already just recently graduated high school. They're going into the university, and there is a rule. It's called the Ashen, and they are not allowed to have any kind of sexual encounters prior to them fully coming into their power. If they do, they will lose their magic. They'll only keep what they were born with. They will not come into their full power.
Uh, yeah, Matt. On Wednesdays we just have the author up, and it's all about them tonight. How did you come up with the idea? Have you always liked gods and goddesses?
I came up with, so my original idea, I actually scribbled it down on like this little notepad when I was telling Lyha, oh, I'm going to make a short story. And it's going to be about these characters that are where the whole school is trying to get them shipped together. It was actually going to be maybe like a high school young adult story. And then I realized that my writing style is not very YA. It's a little dirty. So I decided to shift, and then I wanted it to be more fantasy. And I really enjoy mythology, and that was a lot of the literary courses that I took in college were mythology lit. And I did a lot of research beforehand to see like which characters would flow from these parents. If these parents were together, what would their child look like? Just as an example, in the 1800s, there was an author named Charles Leland, and he actually wrote a story about Diana and Lucifer, who were brother and sister, children of Apollo, according, like, if we're looking at the witch side of things, not like looking at Lucifer like he's
The
Satan.
biblical. Yeah.
But when they have a child together, her name was Aradia. So that's how I came up with the last name Aradia. So Lyha Aradia. And then Damon, one of the characters, which is Lyha's bodyguard, I wanted to give homage to that author who was kind of not really borrowing his story, but reflecting off of that story. So Damon's last name is Leland, off of Charles Leland.
Are are you worried as a debut or just an author in general that people will freak out over the Lucifer and Lilith parts of it?
I thought about it. I know that I am actually in some of my own lives. I've had some people like call me out and call me atheist and all kinds of names, and which is funny because I'm actually an ordained minister. So I was like, well, little do you know, I don't know a whole lot about like Wicca and Wiccan and witches, but I learned a lot work talking with my daughter about that stuff. I'm not too worried about it just for the fact of just like any book or any genre, you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. And if you're not going to like it, then you don't have to read it.
Yeah. And people kind of,
Yeah, Megan.
yeah, it shouldn't matter about your religion, but a lot of people do go there.
Yeah.
Um, it's fantasy, and they can't separate reality from fantasy sometimes.
Yeah, and that's how I explain it too. Like this is make believe. And so if you want to try to compare the two, it's like I don't go in and tell you, well, I don't want to say anything too religious, but I'm not I don't want to go, well, you have this book and it tells you this and that these people existed and you believe it. So, and I'm not calling this that this really happened in real life. I'm calling this as so it's however they want to interpret it, and they have a right to their own interpretation and the right to their own expression of it, and that's fine by me.
Yeah, I think Deb worded that perfectly. That's why we read fantasy, to immerse in a different world.
Right, exactly.
Are there any themes or messages that you want to explore in this book?
um for sure, because when they go into this university, they are told from the very beginning of their life, and they are groomed to expect to be fated or matched to another where they'll have to be blood bonded for life. So Lyha goes in knowing that on her first day at the university, she's going to get matched with somebody, and that's who she has to be with for eternity. And the message that I really want to pass through and convey, there's several messages, but the main one in this is just because you're destined for something or somebody else has said, this is how you have to be, it doesn't mean you have to follow that. She can still choose her own path, but it might be a rough situation trying to get through that. There's also a couple little trigger warning scenes in it about communication. There's going to be something's going to happen to one of the characters where they get assaulted and then they are um, there's like when you go into college, there's that stigma where if this happens, do you tell or do you not tell? So it's kind of trying to give an empowerment of speaking your voice if something happens to you and not just keeping it a secret because you're ashamed
I
without
love that. I
giving
think
too much away.
that's a perfect message to send to anybody. Um, you
Yeah.
just never know. Um, so what do you think the most challenging thing has been for you as you've been writing?
The most challenging probably would be just work-life balance because I do work full time and then I do have four kids and they're spread out in age. I have two adult kids and then two school age kids. So trying to be there for everybody in every stage that they are. Lysa's dealing with editor. I will and to Feed off of that, yes. I am so used to being on the other side and editing and proofreading for other people. It was really hard for me in the beginning not to edit my own work, and I couldn't get past to the next chapter because I kept trying to fix everything. Oh, this is missing, or oh, this is missing. And finally, Lyha said, "Stop it." She's write the story and get going. And I did, and then it just really started flowing out much better. Just perfectionist and trying to be perfect on it. And Matt asked, "Have I ever written about an ex?" I would, mm, I would say there might be a spicy scene in there that might have some realism in it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Do you find that it's easier to edit as you go, like or have Lyha edit as you go, or do you think it's better to wait?
So as long as I'm not obviously like spell checking really quickly or whatever, which as I said before, usually I'm proofreading and editing for people. Um, it does save a little bit of time as long as you don't get obsessed with, oh, now this sentence structure needs to be done this way and this needs to be done this way. Then I go down the rabbit hole and again can't move forward. So it depends on the person, I think. If you're not a perfectionist or obsessed with having everything perfect, I would say go ahead and edit it a little bit. Otherwise, leave it the fuck alone and just write all the way through and then come back and do what you need to do. I know, I was waiting for you to pop up.
Um, can you share a moment from your personal life that inspired a scene or character other than maybe the X scene?
Yeah, yeah, we don't, you made me blush, Kay. um, I would say the scene of the character that got assaulted. She goes through a playback when she starts remembering what happened to her, and she goes in. It doesn't give too much away, but she goes into the shower to basically like clean herself up from the attack. And when she does, she's like scrubbing her skin raw, basically trying to get rid of what just happened to her. And that's something that I've been through.
Um, well, thank you for sharing that part of yourself, and I hope that it helps others.
Yeah. It felt like, do I share this? Do I not? But I feel like, again, it sends a really big message to speak about it if it happens, when it happens, instead of being ashamed and hiding, hiding from your family and trying to keep it a secret. Just let it go instead of trying to wash it down a drain and hide it. And you'll see that character, like it really just, she starts up here, and then as the longer she keeps that secret, the lower she gets, the lower she gets, the lower she gets, until she finally pulls herself out of that.
Do you feel like writing this helped you heal at all,
I
or
think a little. I
did it?
would say I've been healed from that happening, and I probably wouldn't have been able to write about it if I hadn't already had some healing time.
Yeah. Um, so, how do you go about this world that you're building? Did you have to do a lot of research?
I did do some research. So, in the very first chapter, I walk you through the palace that Lyha lives in. Even though she has, these very famous parents, they are the rulers and own all of Hartsvale. She's very alone. And I summarize how many rooms are in the castle. So, I did research to find out what is the biggest castle in the world. And I added one room to make it bigger. And I looked to see like Lyha has a horse that her mother gifts to her as kind of a guilt gift because she's never there. She's never there. She knows the staff of the palace more than she knows her own parents. They kind of just let her be raised by her nanny. Her nanny's name is Marae L, which is actually my two daughters' names mixed together. And with the horse, I make sure to talk about the stables and the racing stables and all the things. And I kind of plug that into because I had horses growing up. So, and as you can see from the picture, this is Belle, her horse. So, yeah, the world, and then the
Yeah.
school. I did look up, oh gosh, it's in my notes, which I don't have those pulled up right now, but I think it's a school that's in Scotland. It's gorgeous. It's old Gothic style with the arched doorways and windows, and I really wanted to capture that. In the book cover, you can kind of see it in the background. When I layered the when I created that, I layered it to where you can almost kind of see it in the background.
Mhm.
Um, I would say I may have pulled a little from Harry Potter, just a tiny bit, where when you go into the school, it doesn't actually like have shifting staircases or anything like that, but it does have like every season, and I pulled it from the Bellagio Hotel. I don't know if you've ever been to like the gardens that they have. Every season, they change the flowers in that room. And so for the school, every season they change the interior design of the school to keep it up to date. So she kind of jokes around like, "Oh, I'm so glad I made it past millennial gray phase, and now we're back into like more warm colors and things like that." Because Lyha is very artsy, so she's you'll see her notice those little details. And yes, love Vegas. It's the conservatory. It's beautiful. It's a room where everything is made of flowers.
I've never been.
Yeah.
Um, Deb asked, "Is it hard to write how you think your characters would speak instead of the way that we speak to them?"
Not for me. I took acting, or I was in acting quite a bit in middle school through high school, and I actually got scholarship to go into college on for acting. So in my brain, when I'm writing out my characters, sometimes I'll just close my eyes and I just envision what they would sound like. So the gods and goddesses, the legacies, they all sound younger. They have more of a now time speech, but the gods and goddesses, they shift to try to be more modern. But you can still tell when Lucifer's talking that he still has more of an ancient speech. And then there's a couple times that him and Clotho will go into, and Hecate will go into a totally different language altogether, and they just call that like the foreign old language, old Fey language or whatever. So there's not a whole like a I don't really give anybody a different kind of language, but they're just like, oh, they're communicating, but I don't know it because it's of the old language. But you can tell between Lucifer and then Orpheus the vampire, they all have their own little accent or little, you can tell their regions are a little bit different. To differentiate between them, because I have, it's multi POV book, so there's not a whole lot of he said and she said. It's a lot of dialogue.
So you've mentioned that these characters are still coming into their magic and everything.
Yes.
Would you say that they use it kind of like Harry Potter, like everybody has all abilities, or some people have different abilities?
Yeah. So
How
yeah.
does
So Lyha in the beginning, again, she's supposed to be the queen of all the witches eventually. And she knows literally nothing because her parents were never around to teach her. She did some homeschooling, but they really dropped the ball on showing her magic because they were trying to protect her. And so she tells you in the very beginning, all I know how to do is split an apple. It's because she'll like put her hand over and the apple will split and she gives some to Tally and some to her horse. But she's like, that's all I can do and I'm expected to protect our kingdom for the rest of my life. You'll see her grow into her powers. She will, when she gets to the university, meet up with Professor Absher, who will teach her. She's from another witch coven and she's a new professor at the school. she's going to teach her how to take on the responsibilities of what is to come for her in book 2 and 3. Kyle is a vampire, so he has some of the stereotypical vampire powers of putting people into a trance and glamoring. And then David is a wizard, and his is more of a healing aspect. Maya, you said something about chapter 7 is so funny. Is that the one with the gummies? Okay.
The one right after when she's waking up and Tally wakes her. Like that's
Oh,
right.
oh. Has she got to the stage yet?
Not yet. I'm almost there.
Okay, wait till you get there because she's gonna have a moment on the stage as well.
Thank you, Vicky.
So
We may have to read this chapter.
there is a moment as some people, they go through hazing phases in college or whatever. Or they try new things they never did. Lyha is talked into taking a gummy. And she thinks to herself, oh, this isn't doing anything. I'm going to take another one. And then Tally is like, oh my gosh, did you just take 2 of those? And she's like, yeah, why? What's wrong? She ends up kind of doing too much. And then David, being the healer, that's the first time that they see each other in person, and she throws up on him because he heals her and then draws the drugs out of her. Oh, fun. Let's see. And just everybody has a little bit. And then Tally, she's a siren, so she manipulates water. There's a little shower scene. A little spicy scene where she plays with the water to her advantage.
So, are the witches the most powerful beings in your world?
In this particular, yes, the Nosferatu clan is close behind them, and they want that power. They want to take it. And so Orpheus Orpheus Damocles. He is the vampire king, and Kyle's dad, but he is also dean of the school. So he has an ultimate plan of he's going to try to get Lyha. He wants her for her power. She is the strongest. And if he gets his way with his little evil doings, if to get her would mean that he could turn her, vampire and witch, and then that could cause some chaos. But I can't say nothing else.
If your book were to be put into a film, who would you cast as your main character?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I would say I think of Lily Collins a lot when I think of Lyha because she's got, that very thin and hair, but I don't know like a lot of the newer up and coming actresses and actors because I don't watch TV very often. So I'm not sure. I think that's what I think of. Like when Lily Collins played, what was it, Snow White or something like that. That's kind of how I envision Lyha looking like.
What can you describe a memorable interaction that you've had with a fan so far?
With a fan so far? Actually, oh gosh, there's so many actually. So I had a lot of people reach out to me.
Henry Cavill for sure.
Yeah, she's gonna try to get Henry Cavill could definitely play Lucifer, or we could make him a bad guy and make him be Orpheus. Yeah, play the king and make him be naughty. So I have met so many people from all over the world. It's actually pretty crazy. I have voice clips that I had made for certain parts of my book done by Xandro Torres, voice actor. And I started going into his lives. And when I was in there, we did some collab discussions when I was up in his box. And I made a lot of friends in the chat or in the comments who got really interested in the book after listening to the voice clips. And I think my first experience with fan art would be from Rai. Rai is from Malaysia and she's down in the comments. And she actually created one of my characters. They're not even mentioned yet. I'm not even to that part of the book, but they will be a very significant part in book two. And it's Goddess Selene and Edmenian, which Goddess Selene, her story will be more in the second book, but it is the goddess that she travels from the moon on her fire chariot and falls in love with a mortal on Earth. And she loves him so much she asks Apollo to put him in an everlasting sleep so that she can visit him every night in his dreams. Yeah, Rice's I love them already. Haven't even read about them yet. But that's the base story. I did a lot of research on that story, and then I was like, how can I tie this in? So, without giving too much away on my outline for book two, they're going to be a big part of Lyha moving more into her powers because they are king and queen of Havensvale. So, right now we're in Hartsville University. It still will be based around the school, but Havensvale will be the second book.
Okay. So, do you think like the rest of the books is going to feature Lyha and Tally, but focus more on other characters a little bit more?
Yes, all the same characters will be in the book. You'll see a few extra new ones, which would be Selene and Edmenian. You'll see all of them really coming into their powers now and gearing up for a battle between the Aradias and the Damocles family. Um, and even the Lachlan's, because David is the son of Voltaire Lachlan, which is the Highland Wizards. So we have wizards, we have and warlocks who fight each other, and then we also have the vampires and then the witches. And it's just going to be a matter of who trusts who and who's going to take whose side. And definitely in book two, you're going to see one of the couple characters from book one come back stronger in book two, mostly for in a vengeance type way.
Are we going to see like a water world since Tally is a siren?
Yes, I briefly discuss what the world of what Tally lives because her parents aren't home very often either. But you get to see that they have a lot of money too, but they're more frugal and kind of laid back. They spend more of their time in the sea, but Tally is more about wanting to be on land with her friends. So there's like a little brief discussion of what her little sandcastle type mansion looks like. But in book two, you will see a lot more of that because I will say book two is going to be maybe more focused on Tally. And I can't tell you why though. But probably the biggest thing is for the main female character, Lyha, her love for her best friend, Tally, is gonna, you're really gonna see that love. Instead of,
I love
the
a good.
romantic love story and all of that, sometimes the friendships prevail over the lovey dovey stuff. Yeah, love vengeance arts, exactly, Megan.
Um, which authors do you personally draw inspiration from?
um, they're a little bit all over the place. My very favorite writer or author is Roald Dahl, who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach. Very different than what I write. I also really enjoy Mitch Albom books, which are faith-based books. And then I jump out like I have a broad spectrum. Then I'm over here reading like Chantal Tessier, which is really heavy dark romance. So I'm all
Yeah,
over the place with where I am inspired from.
I love that. So we've made a pretty good community around us, all of us, and there's a lot of authors and just everybody from the bookish community. Um, How do they help you become a better writer?
Um, I would say for sure just leaning on everybody for an ear. I'll give big props to ER Brooks. I don't think she's in here tonight. We've talked a lot about the work-life balance stuff, the frustrations of not getting too wrapped up into the fantasy, not immersing your own self so much into your own story that you get lost into it because it's very easy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Um, yeah, I go to, oh yeah, Josie writes scary short stories too. New actually read my short story. I did a horror story. Okay, so that brings up Danny. Danny Galvin, one of the
I
Butchered
love
writers.
Danny.
He came in one time in my live and was talking about a scary dream that I had. And I was kind of stuck on what direction I wanted to go with Artsville. And he goes, why don't you write something, like take a break and write something different. Write a story about your dream. And so I was like, all right, challenge accepted. So for the very first time in my life, I wrote a horror story. And it challenged me. As Lyha knows, she edited it and she's like, the first copy that I sent to her, she goes, you're gonna have to get rid of like 1,600 words and take out all your descriptors. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she's like, it's not a novel, it is a campfire story. I was like, okay, I didn't know. I've only written in the form of a novel. I've never done a horror story like that before. So, but it pulled a side of me that I'm not used to. I didn't know I could write scary, and I actually saved the more detailed version of it. So I do have a novella planned for that character, Vanity.
Um, do you feel like you're more of a plot-driven writer, or you're just a vibes, like wherever the story takes you?
The characters, I would say, I have built an outline. I when I very I'm like, I'm just gonna pants through it and just go with the flow or whatever. But I'm too ADHD for that, so I did a whole outline all the way down to I think 35 chapters. And as I go, then I realize, oh, these characters are just telling me what to do, no matter what I thought I wanted them to do, as things would come about. Then suddenly it's like, oh, we don't really want to be with this person. We want to be with this person. Or we don't like this. We like this instead. So it's a little bit of both. I let them drive. I'm just the vessel.
Um, so how long has this story been brewing in your head? And when
Just
did you decide to take the plunge?
honestly, okay. Lyha was going through some things and feeling, I don't want to say down about herself, but a little overwhelmed. She had a lot on her plate. She was doing so many things for so many people. And I felt like she wasn't getting the recognition that she truly deserved. And I said, you know what? Let me write a short story. I'm going to write a short story for you, and I'm going to make you the main character. She's like, you don't have to do that. And I was like, yes, I do. I'm going to do it for you. So when I started like writing it out, it got bigger and more and more and more. And I said, you know what? Now we're like, this is a big thing. Like I'm in 5 chapters now. I don't know what to do. And then I read it. She's like, you know, this is going to be like a 6-book series, right? And I was like, well, hopefully it's not 6 books, but I'm going to aim for 3. But it probably the end of August is when I really said, yes, we're going to do this. We're actually going to publish this. This isn't going to be just a short story to make Lyha feel better and make her feel important. This is going to be a whole book series, and I hope she feels super important to be immortalized all the way through a series.
Hold up. This actually started because of a dream she had about me and 2 of my exes. So
Yeah,
let's say this correctly.
yeah, I forgot that too. Okay. No, it started with the inspiration of I want to write a story for you, but I wasn't sure what story I was going to write. And then I had this stinking dream about like a little love triangle between Lyha, David, and Kyle. So I said, hey, let me run this by you. you don't happen to know anybody named David and Kyle, do you? And she was floored. She goes, how the fuck do you know that? And I go, I don't know. I just had this dream about this guy named David and this guy named Kyle, and you're caught in the middle. And she goes, those are two people that I've dated before in my life. I said, okay, that's the names of the people in my book now.
It is meant to be.
It's okay, right? It's okay. They're friends. So
yeah, that's almost worse, actually. I don't know. It was the ESP, I guess. All the things. If you're really close to me, I might have a dream about you, and just know it probably might happen in real life. Yes, it was meant to be. Right, exactly. Just like us all meeting in the room and then you doing the fan art for me, all of this has been lining up and meant to be. I've learned so much from all the artists that have come in and talked to me about my book and learning. I started out when I very first started my page, my Josie Hewitt author page, using really crappy AI. And I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me like 3 hours to make something that looked trash. So then I started getting to know all these artists and their feelings about it, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes easier is not always better. So that's another thing that I've grown from is like, I'm going to continue to support the artist using character art from them more so than AI. Like even the picture that Lyha has up, I know you can't see like her face or whatever, but her eyes look a little crazy. And I think that they purposely leave something messed up on it because to show it's AI or whatever, it took me forever to get that A and the moon phase around the letter A. She's supposed to have a choker on. I could never get that on. That took me like 3 hours to do. And I was like, why is this taking so long? And then I have seen my artistic friends take this same photo and draw it out like right before my eyes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. It looks cool for concept, of course. Yes. And the AI stuff that I have used, it is just for, I wanted to have a visual of what I was seeing in my head, and I didn't want to lose that. So it did help me a little bit with just the creativity aspect of it, but not using it as my final.
Or is there, if you're showing AI images and you're trying to promote your book, that people will take that negatively, even though you're not using it for publishing purposes?
Yeah, a little bit, and in the lives that I do mention it a lot. Hey, this is my work in progress, and this is one of the steps of learning how to do things. Was I did use it not for a complete step, but as again as a visualization to then know what I want to bring to the artist. So I say, hey, this is what I want. Can you do something like this? And then they're going to bring it to life based off of this real quick. I say quick, even though it took me 3 hours, but it will still always end up being somebody. Yeah, anti-AI is the new boomer. Right. I don't want to get canceled because I played around with something just to get my thought onto paper.
Yeah. I've noticed a lot of narrators right now are big on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did get asked a lot of the narration clips that I had done. Oh, is that person AI? I was like, no, it's a real true person. I know we've had arguments.
yeah.
If they are, I've never argued with somebody about AI stuff, or I've never argued with AI, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could happen.
Do you have any little hidden gems in your book that only certain people in your real life will get? Hey, I know what that's about. Or...
Yes. Yeah. A lot of it is in the beginning of the book. There's some eyeliner that Deb turned me on to when we first became friends. And so as Lyha is getting ready for school, she's using the gel eyeliner that Tally suggested. And that's like a little nod to Deb. And then Tally, she wears her hair up in space buns, and that nod to somebody that taught me how to put space buns in my hair because I don't know how to do that fun stuff. There's even a phrase that Felicia says all the time, and that happened by accident. And just as she was reading it, she was like, "I say that all the time." And I go, "I know you do." So I think it's just like little influences of just people telling me certain things. And then even this photo, the dress of this is like an inspiration off of a person. I was just like, I like it as the moon or starlight dress. So this would be at the university ball, and it's David and Lyha actually dancing together finally after they have been completely. He's always been very honest with his feelings about her, and she has just been deny, because she doesn't want to she doesn't want to take part in any of this fated ceremony. She's like, I don't want it. I just want to be me and be left alone. But here, as you can see, she's starting to let her guard down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's giving Selena Gomez a little bit.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for Mrs. Josie before we have to leave tonight? How many people are you sharing this with before it's done? Like, how many ARC or beta readers are you having?
I'm not sure yet. Right now, Lyha has access, and then I have a couple author friends that I've already discussed with. I do have some ARC readers lined up. And then I have like a girl chat that I'm in, which is a lot of the followers from the narrator group that we've all gotten to know each other really well. And they're like so excited. They're like, drop the book. So I feel like when I'm ready for some beta readers and ARC readers, I don't feel like I'm going to have too much trouble getting volunteers out of that. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then it just depends too if I do end up making a connection with a trad publisher. I know sometimes they run their own as well.
Yeah, true. Always excited for her little clips and sneak peeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did I did a live where before I launched the voice clips, I would do a live, and whoever just happened to come in, they got to hear it first.
Yeah. How important is it? I know you got snippets. How important is it to have your audiobook ready when you have your book out? Is that big for you to have at almost the same time? Are you waiting?
I really would love it to be at least within 6 months of when the book is released, and I know that's probably unrealistic. So if there are any publishers watching, I apologize. I know that that's unrealistic, but I would love for that to be readily available because the voice clips are a big factor in really launching the interest. And then to hear it, like hear what I've written out, made me feel some type of way, and the feedback from that was phenomenal. Yeah, Courtney, definitely trying to. And it's also, so some countries may not allow my book, and so if I can send it through audiobook, I would like to do that as well. But the reach right now is Brazil, Argentina, Malaysia, all over the US, UK, Ireland. It's a phenomenal reach, and a lot of that is because they heard the voice clips off the book and then came in and started watching the lives about, okay, what is this about? I need to know more.
Yeah.
And Lyha
I feel like
chapter 7.
so,
She should let me read chapter 7. If you want to, you can, Lyha. She said chapter 7 is really funny.
And dramatic. It's also dramatic.
If we have time, it's already 8 o'clock.
You can read if you want.
Okay.
Thank you, Cherish.
You,
Thank you, New.
Josie. God dang it, woman! You and your double
Corgi.
names. Yeah, I'll
Corgi.
be your corgi later. Okay. Chapter 7. Lyha Aradia. Lyha. 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 Tally shakes me violently, trying to wake me up. I'm up! I'm up! I jolt awake. Oh, God's my head. Why does it hurt so bad? I just had the craziest, steamiest dream I ever had in my life. I was riding on top of. I pause abruptly. I can't tell Tally about this dream. She will lose her shit if I tell her I fucked her newest obsession. What were you saying? Tally turns to me as she puts in a pair of my earrings from my jewelry bag. David said you'd have a bit of a hangover since he had to siphon out the drugs. Girl, you had me worried there for a sec. She releases a breathy giggle. I'm sorry I can't help but laugh a little. Between ripping your bow out and slingshotting it across the room, telling David how fuckable and pretty he was, chasing after bunnies and puking, I don't know which was the funniest. She snickers again. Oh no. Mortified, I rest my head in my palms and recall every embarrassing detail. Did your nap help at all? She climbs into the bed and fills my forehead and cheeks like a mother hen. Not really, but that doesn't matter. We need to get going. We've got like 30 minutes to get to the courtyard. My mother told me if I don't appear bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, there would be hell to pay, and I'm not willing to find out what that means. I've got a reputation to uphold, you know? My mouth feels like sandpaper. I need water. There's a heavy hoodie laying across my legs. I shift to remove it, but pull it up to my nose and inhale the familiar scent from earlier. Citrus, musk, and bergamot. Dior Homme Cologne. I've smelled this before when Tally and I were shopping at the plaza. I'll have to return this to him. Or maybe I'll keep it. I glance over to see if Tally is watching. She's returned to the mirror, preoccupied with adding more blush to the apple of her cheeks. Impulsively, I shove the hoodie under my blankets and tuck the sides in to secure it. I'm not sure why I want to keep it. He may want it back. I'll just say I lost it. What am I doing? Why am I so freaking obsessed with keeping the damn hoodie that doesn't belong to me? After the dream I had, I don't know if I should have any reminder of him in my bed sheets. What did you think of David up close and in person? Isn't he incredibly fucking hot? Since you never came to any class trips, you've been missing out. She giggles but doesn't wait for my response. No way in hell am I going to agree with her now. I mean, yes, he's incredibly fucking hot. In person, in my dream. Fuck, that was something. Hurriedly, I snatch up the satin bow I threw on the floor earlier, rake my fingers through my hair, and swirl it back into a bun at the top of my head, securing the bow back in place. It is not giving Vixen anymore, but I honestly don't care. Resting my hand on my chest, I breathe in and exhale out, trying to find my center, whispering a quick prayer to my auntie. Hey, how are you pronouncing that anyway? Hecate. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh shit. I say Hecate, but you can say Hecata as well. It just depends on what region you're from.
Okay. I'm not sure I believe in the power of prayer or if Hecate can really hear me, but I'll do anything to make it through this damn ceremony. Hecate, if you can hear me, please don't let me end up with someone awful like Kyle Democles. Sorry to be so specific, but his family terrifies me, and I will die if I have to be bound to him forever. Please, 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 Hecate. Lyha, for fuck's sake, stop being so dramatic. Tally snorts out another laugh, and has now finished repinning her face bones at each side of her head. Let's get going before your shadow comes knocking to find where you're at. Damon interrupts, clearing his throat. I knocked, but no one responded. I didn't want you to be late. He stands tall in the doorway. I wonder if he can tell I'm still a little high from the edibles. Speaking of the devil, Tally arches her eyebrow, smirks, and crosses her arm while resting her hip against the dresser. We were just about to leave. We don't need a chaperone, she states firmly. That's unfortunately not an option for Lyha. You can go whenever you want. He emphasizes you and nods over his shoulder. Don't do this right now, you two. I swear to God, you act like an married couple. Ew, no, Sally squeals. She balls her fist and stomps over to the door, glaring right into Damon's eyes. I'll see you on the stage, Lyha. Bye, creep. Damon looks to the ceiling and shakes his head. I don't know how you two are best friends. You are complete opposites. I pull on my family crested blazer and refresh my lipstick. I spray Tom Ford Lost Cherry onto my wrist and then a mist in front of me to walk through. Shaking out all the bad energy, I wiggle my hands loosely and exhale one last time. Then head for the door where Damon stands. I guess here we go. I shrug. Instead of following behind me, he gently takes my hand in his, lacing his fingers with mine. It's warm and callous, but for some reason, the gesture is soothing. Friend, for a mortal, he's not half bad. I don't jerk away because I need all the courage and strength I can get. When we arrive closer to the courtyard, he reassuringly squeezes my hand once and releases it, likely for fear some will think more of it. He is a professional after all. We smile at each other, and then I walk ahead to line up with the other chosen females. There are 8 chosen to represent the 8 primary moon phases, 4 males and 4 females. I have no clue who the others are outside of Kyle, David, and Tally, but I know they all share one thing in common: money. The stage is decorated with an archway lit in twinkling fairy lights dressed in maroon dahlias, lush red roses, and white stargazer lilies. Candles surround the entirety of the stage, letting off a soft glow. Clotho is already stationed center stage at a grand podium with threads laid out before her. She's dressed in a light blue robe with a moon phase crown resting atop her strawberry blonde waves. I've never seen her in her ceremony robes. She's stunning. Dean Democles enters stage left, dressed in a black and green accented HVU embossed robe, and directs us to line up on stage facing each other. The courtyard continues to fill with all the attending students. I'm so fucking embarrassed right now and beginning to shake. Tally is practically glowing with excitement. Damon has a point. We are complete opposites. She winks her wonky wink at me, but I can't bring myself to laugh at it this time. All of my alarm bells are ringing. I'm starting to sweat again from all my crevices, unsure if it is my intuition or lingering effects of the THC. Stupid ass Lyha, why did you take that damn extra gummy? You idiot! The once noisy crowd drops to complete silence. Footsteps clack across the stage, and I look up to see whose presence demanded such attention. My eyes bug out and jaw drops open as my mother and daddy uncle walk palm over palm and take a spot next to Dean Democles. What the actual fuck? They could have told me they're going to be here, let alone be witnesses to the ceremony. Mother sees me throwing daggers at her with my eyes from across the stage, but she ignores it. Now I'm not only parched, riddled with panic and sweat, and hungover, I'm also livid. I close my eyes and try to imagine myself anywhere but here, but I'm suddenly standing on the beach of the Damon Sea, the waves crash against nearby rocks. I'm not sure why my mind took me here, but anything is better to take me away from this moment. Dean Democles' voice carries in the background, welcoming all to the event. Out in the water, I see a mirage of a man hovering above the water. He's nearly naked with just a loincloth covering his manhood. A cerulean aura illuminates his muscular outline. His eyes glow an iridescence comparable to moonlight. He looks vaguely familiar for some reason. His presence calms my mind. I blink, and I'm drawn back away from the sea image to hearing Dean Democles' creeper voice droning on something about tradition. Distracted with my thoughts, I had not paid attention to who stood across from me. David Lachlan. His eyes are intense and staring right through my soul. Oh gods, has he been watching me this entire time? He mouths, "Are you okay?" I lower my lashes and nod yes. I'm sure he thinks I'm tripping again. He gives me a half smile and a dimple pops out. I never noticed it before. Heat rises to my cheeks. Oh shit, I'm blushing. Stop it, Lyha! He licks his lips and bites at his lower lip. Fuck, am I hallucinating? Because that shit was hot and out of left field. He winks and grins sinfully. I feel a tug on my blazer. Tally scowls at me. I shrug. What? She looks up bug-eyed at Dean Democles and whispers, "Pay attention, whore! You're slobbering and murmuring something about." She tips her head, gesturing towards discussing Dean Democles and my parents. Yep, I'm probably starting to trip again. I look back over to where my parents are standing. Mother's throwing my daggers back tenfold. She's going to unalive me. I giggle, unable to help myself. Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting murdered later. Snap out of it, Lyha! Tally whisper yells at me. Dean Democles clears his throat, annoyed that we had the audacity to interrupt his important speech, then continues. I look across at David again, but this time he looks back at me, with worry and concern. Maybe I was hallucinating. To the right of him is Kyle Democles. He doesn't look concerned. He looks devilishly pleased. He mouths, "Did you like that?" What is he talking about? I shrug in question. He gestures the same half smile and lip bite David did with his lip, then winks at me. Wait. Motherfucker, he mind fucked me. His beady eyes splinter tight, and he smirks like the evil shit he is. Lyha Aradia, please step forward and stand before the podium, Clotho calls. Just wait, I'm gonna kick your ass once this is over with, Democles. I can't wait for you to try, he replies. How the fuck is he getting into my head so easily? Right, vampire. Ugh. I break my dust stare from him and approach the podium. Four of the 8 threads remain. I glance up to see who is all still standing to be matched. Tally, David, Kyle, and now myself. Fucking great. I haven't been paying attention to notice that the others have already been matched. Good for them. Hello, my child, Clotho beams. Please stand still while the thread declares your match. The remaining golden threads brighten as they rise above my head and spin. One stills above me, and the other travels to the row of males still standing. Kyle and David. Oh, I can't watch, but I can't look away. It hovers slightly towards David. Yes, please. I suppose I can learn to tolerate a gummy worm drug dealer, and if that dream is anything like the real thing, I might not mind a hookup. Then it bypasses him and hovers above Kyle, and the glow begins to intensify. Match! Clotho announces excitedly. Kyle, please stand beside your fated match, Lyha Aradia. He walks towards me, and our threads unite above me. My chest tightens. The air is suddenly so thick. No, 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 no! I clutch my heaving chest, attempting to catch my breath. This can't be happening! Please, gods, no! My palm begins to sweat, my head is spinning, and my stomach is churning like hours ago then. Reach! I puke all over the stage. Everyone in the crowd gasps. Oh, God, you've got to be kidding me. Sorry, that's supposed to be wretch. My bad. You've got to be kidding me. Why now? Why me? I crawl over to the side of the stage, trying to figure out that damn invisible spell again. I should have paid more attention in spelling class. Clotho continues on, trying to pull attention away from my embarrassing mishap to match the remaining couple, David and Tally. Out of nowhere, Dean Democles grabs my wrist, yanks me upward against his rock-hard body. He whispers into my ear so only I can hear, "Get a grip, Miss Aradia. I can't have you embarrassing the Democles name on your first day with the family." Bewildered, I stare back at him. Bile begins to burn in my throat at the thought of becoming a Democles. This can't be. This can't be. Oh, it can, princess, and it will. Shit. I let my shield down. He read my mind. He releases me with a push, and I stumble into Kyle. He catches me, and for a split second I can feel empathy. But immediately that familiar rage joins it as he stands me to my feet. Dean Democles nears the podium mic again, straightening his tie. This year, we will be implementing a new tradition to ensure all chosen get a proper chance to get to know one another. Each mated pair will be required to stay on campus, and they will share a matrimony suite for the entirety of the ceremony, leading up to the blood moon bonding ceremony. The crowd is now abuzz. My parents, Clotho, Mr. O'Loughlin, and the other chosen parents turn in surprise toward Dean Demockley, as if this is a new information to them. They begin to question him, but he storms off stage and heads out of the courtyard back to the university offices. Tally is giddy and jumps for joy, wrapping her arms around David's neck. He looks over her shoulder at me with sympathetic eyes as he wraps his arm around her back. He looks as confused as I feel. Kyle sees our exchange confusion and smirks. You'd be better off letting go of whatever you two started because it's not going to happen. Let's go. He grabs my wrist tightly and pulls me towards the direction of the faded hall dorms. I jerk free of his grip. There is no way in hell I'm going anywhere with you. There has to be a mistake, I yell. His face is cold and he leans in, lowering his voice to a whisper, just as his father did before. Welcome to hell, Lyha. Surely your dad or uncle or whatever he is to you has taken you for a visit to the underworld. I'm sure it won't be much different. Kyle snatches my bicep and begins to drag me to the faded halls. From the corner of my eyes, I see Damon. His face is expressionless. I turn my body toward him and plead with my eyes for him to help me. But he doesn't come to my rescue. Instead, his shoulders drop. He looks down and away, puts his hands in his pocket, and walks in the opposite direction. He can't help me. No one can. That's it. I'm done.
Hey, Lyha. It was a pretty fun one to write.
It was pretty fun to read twice now.
They all want more now.
Good. Everybody should want more.
Yeah. I know you did that perfectly. So now you know that she gets fated to Kyle. And in the chapters leading up to that, you'll see why. You'll see where the drama begins with all of that. So, yeah. Good job, Lyha.
Yeah, buy the book, guys.
Now I'm going to buy the book today.
Hopefully October.
Yes, hopefully October. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, does anybody have any more questions real quick before we go? Josie, thank you for letting Lyha read that. That was a good little snippet.
Yeah. Thank you guys both for having me up here too. I appreciate all of your guys' support and liking stuff and showing up in my lives and seeing me go from silly person in the comments on your guys' lives about other authors to, hey, surprise guys, guess what I'm doing? So
we love that though. There's been so many that made that transition.
Supportive since day one. I appreciate it very much.
We try. Thank you for coming. Yes, she has grown a lot. She likes to hang out, but now she's getting more confident in her own, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Christine.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Keep us updated. I'm sure we will, but
yeah, absolutely. You guys will be first to know in the disco.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for the taps. 113K is not too bad.
Yeah, thank you.
The goal was 105.
Good job, guys. Thanks for the gifts. Thanks for being here.
That was long.
That was long. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Thank you, Josie. We're so proud of you, and you're gonna do amazing things. Thank you for the heart.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, make sure I get you a heart me. Bye. Thanks.